You are listening to Lifted You Weight Loss with Annie Jensen, episode number 9, Turning Knowing into Doing, the 4 skill sets that make weight loss work. Hello, darling. I'm Annie, and I'm here to connect with you. I know we understand each other. We show up, we live hard, and you and I do all of it, carrying the same burden. But here is the most beautiful truth that I've learned over years of struggling with my weight. We do not have to live with this burden. So come with me because you are not alone in this. I'm ready to share everything. My story, my friendship, and every piece of value I've gathered along the way. My purpose is to lift you as you move forward on your own path to light, loving, and lasting weight loss and build something that finally works for you. Darling, there is a life waiting for you on the other side of this process. So let's ease this burden. Let's build what's already within you. Together we'll create a lighter, lifted you. Oh, hey. Welcome back to episode 9. We are almost in double digits. I can't believe it. I hope that you are enjoying this time together, at least a little bit close to how much I love it. We get to open the doors to a brand new layer of your weight loss foundation today. I'm super excited. We have talked all about love and clarity. We've started building our base with those. We know that love gives you understanding and acceptance in your life, and especially in this area of weight loss. Clarity gives you vision, a clear view forward. Practical wisdom, which is layer 3, shows your doer how to take that next step and how to keep going. So welcome to layer 3, the bridge between knowing and doing. This is where we really start moving together, where your knowledge of all the things that you've learned about weight loss in your life, all the things you know, and maybe things you struggle implementing, this is where that knowledge is going to become personal skill and lasting change. Last week, I described this layer as an always open, ever-growing library of hands-on knowledge, and it absolutely is. Thankfully for us, human knowledge is continuously building in our lives. So today, as we walk through the front doors of this new layer together, my goal is to help you begin building a personal collection of practical tools and skills that will lighten and lift this area of your life. And I'm going to start today by introducing you to the 4 skill sets that you need to lose weight and to keep it off for your life. These are called the 4 essentials, and we'll learn that any and all practical tools and skills that you need to lose weight can be categorized into these 4 skill sets. That keeps things simple and clean and doable for us. Let's go back and review the 6 pillars of doer support before I introduce these 4 skill sets, because these skill sets fit really nicely into one of the pillars of doer support. Okay, if you'll remember back in, I think episode 2 is where I first introduced the 6 pillars of doer support. Your doer is the part of you who is going to make weight loss happen. And we need to be supporting and empowering her all the time so that she can do her job. All right, remember, these 6 pillars of doer support are: 1, a solid foundation. We're working on it. We're on layer 3 today. Number 2 is an appealing vision. And we talked about that last week as we went through your foolproof plan, connect, check, and go. Remember, the appealing vision is part of the doer check. We need to make sure that our plan is appealing to our doer so that she wants to do it. And that brings us to pillar number 3, a possible plan. We know that if our doer feels like something is appealing and it's possible, she's going to want to follow through. All right, pillar number 4 is a clearly marked path, and we'll get there. We haven't talked about that yet. Pillar number 5 is tools and skills. Hello, layer 3. Tools and skills are practical wisdom. And pillar number 6 is unfailing support. Okay, we're working on that. We haven't talked about it specifically yet, but we're doing it. We're doing that all the time as we're here together. So in layer 3 of your weight loss foundation, we are going to laser focus in on pillar number 5, which is tools and skills. Okay, let's quickly differentiate between tools and skills before we move on. Tools are things we use in the moment, like questions we ask ourselves, frameworks we follow through, like connect, check, and go, a hunger scale, or simple prompts that guide our thinking. Skills are things that we get better at over time as we use the tools. Some skills start out as tools, something you have to remember to use, but with repetition, they become skills. It's something you do naturally without thinking. At first, when you're trying to help yourself think clearly and see clearly, you may use the tool of pausing and asking yourself, what am I thinking right now? That is a tool. But over time, you may just automatically notice and correct your thoughts in the moment. And then you know that tool has become a more developed skill. Eventually, your thoughts are just completely different. You don't think the old things you used to think. You don't have to stop and notice those things. You just think differently, and you are a new, lighter version of yourself. So that is the developmental process from using tools to developing skills to becoming a new you. Without further ado, let me introduce you to the 4 essential skill sets of weight loss. And you'll see that they follow a pattern of what we've already learned with connect, check, and go. So these skill sets may sound familiar to you, which will be great, and we're going to implement them with what we've already spent time learning. These 4 skill sets are called the 4 essentials, and they are the 4 core skill sets that we all need to lose weight and to live at that healthy weight. Number 1 is thinking clearly. Okay, we've talked a lot about that in learning about clarity. Number 2 is seeing clearly. We've also talked about that. Skill set number 3 is responding intentionally. We'll learn that intention is essential to weight loss. Skill set number 4 is moving forward. Okay, does that pattern sound familiar at all? It might, because here is the best part. The connect, check, and go foolproof plan that we learned last week naturally organizes these skills, and it gives us a way to practice them. So we'll use connect, check, and go as the framework to learn and apply the 4 essentials. So I'll say it one more time. The 4 essentials are the skills we're building. Connect, check, and go is how we'll use them. So this is really helpful because it allows us to learn the essential skills for weight loss and practice your foolproof plan at the same time. So as we are practicing, we are learning and growing and making change. And that is our whole goal entirely. So it's a great framework. So we need to connect the 4 essential skill sets to connect, check, and go. Before we do that, let's quickly review connect, check, and go. That's also known as your foolproof plan. If you need to go back and listen to episode 8 before this, if you haven't listened to it yet, go do that first. That will help a ton because we're going to build off that today. So remember, your foolproof plan is designed to help you move forward in any moment in your life on your weight loss path. If you need to make a choice, if you need to move through some stuckness, the first thing you're going to do is connect. You're going to connect with the truth about you. You're going to know and feel that you are capable. You're going to get some clarity. Then you're going to ask yourself, what do I really need right now? You're going to establish a real personal need that you have in that moment. Once you've done that, you're going to check. You're going to make a plan to meet that need, then DOER check your plan. Okay? The DOER check is this plan appealing? Is it possible? And does it move me toward what I need? If it moves you toward what you need, it will move you toward your goals. If it's not appealing or possible, or doesn't move you, it doesn't get you out of your stuckness even just a little bit, you just adjust it until it does. Next is go. This is where your doer steps in and she takes that first step. She moves you toward your lighter self. Okay, connect, check, and go. Now I want to help you see how beautifully the 4 essentials fit inside this connect, check, and go framework. Okay, the first step, connect, is where you're going to make sure you are thinking clearly and seeing clearly. Those are the first 2 essential skill sets. The next step is check. This is where you're going to respond intentionally, which is the 3rd skill set, with a plan. The last one makes all the sense in the world. The last step is go. This is where your doer steps in and she moves forward. moving forward is that fourth skill set. So no matter what you're experiencing in life, you can connect, check, and go using the 4 essentials of weight loss to move you forward. So you have a foolproof plan that can help you get through any situation, and you have all of the essential skill sets of weight loss at your disposal to make it happen. So we just need to practice, and that's what we're going to do. Part of that practice is obviously learning the 4 individual skill sets. So let's go through each of them on more of a higher level today. We are going to get deep in the nitty-gritty of all of them in all the situations in our lives. We have so much that we can practice and talk about and apply to this framework. We're just going to start a little bit higher level today. And please remember, I am reminding myself as well that you do not have to master or even remember all of this today. Okay, we are learning, we are practicing, and over time, it will become natural and just be who you are. Remember, you have your natural doer, your developed doer, and your weight loss doer. Right now, your weight loss doer is going to practice to become a developed doer in your life. A developed doer is natural, but she has worked a while. She's put in the effort and the grit to become who you are. Okay, essential weight loss skill number 1, remember, is thinking clearly. So what does this mean? Before we change behavior, before we make a plan, before we move forward, we have to look at what's happening in your mind. Thinking clearly means you can recognize when your thoughts may be off and then adjust them appropriately. Because we clearly should not believe everything we think, even though we forget that we shouldn't believe everything we think. Completely normal brains think irrational thoughts all the time. It's just normal. They can actually go wild, especially if they're unsupervised. So we need to supervise and direct our brains by thinking clearly on purpose. So here are some example tools that can help us develop the skill of thinking clearly. Okay, you've heard me talk about mental bugs a million times. They are glitches in our mental processing, in our brains, in our weight identities that keep us stuck, that keep us believing things that aren't true. So a tool that we can use to help find those bugs and clear them out is called the bug detector. Okay, it's recognizing where your brain is stuck. If you can recognize some thoughts that aren't truth and recognize them as glitches instead, you are using your bug detector and you are one step closer to getting yourself unstuck and out of those glitchy thought processes. Another tool that's fairly similar is a thought filter. Questioning your thoughts. Asking yourself, is this thought accurate? Is it even rational? A thought filter helps us not believe everything we think. A cognitive error detector is a little bit more specific, maybe like a smaller thought filter with like smaller holes because it's just more specific in the actual type of bug that you might have. A cognitive or thinking error detector is going to get more specific, is going to notice all or nothing thinking, labeling, exaggerating, maybe sensationalizing something. And when you get that specific about a thought error or a bug, you've put yourself in a position to find a specific solution, and that is quicker. So a thinking error detector or a cognitive error detector is a way that we will label the bugs once we find them. And the last tool of thinking clearly that I'll share today is simply the tool of reframing. This is something I learned from my sister also. Shifting things from I blew it to how can I adjust? I'll tell you some reframing I'm going to do right now is in Colorado, we are having ridiculously hot weather in March. And I have big feelings about it because I didn't get my cozy, like alone, cozy up time in the winter. We didn't have a winter this year. It has snowed maybe 3 times and that's like just a little bit of snow. So I really recharge and refresh in the winter when I can be cozy down in my office, which I love so much. This year, I am going to give myself that cozy time down in my office during the summer. And I'm not going to feel bad about not being outside. I'm not going to feel bad about turning my heater on a little bit if I need to in the mornings, even if it's going to be hot that day. I'm reframing to give myself the time that I missed this winter so that I can be happy during the summer. Now, how does thinking clearly help you move forward? So let's imagine that your thought is, I've already messed this day up, so I might as well keep going. Thinking clearly allows you to pause and see that that's a bug. It's irrational, it's all or nothing thinking, and continuing the same behavior will just keep me stuck. Or what if you have a thought like, I have no self-control? Thinking clearly allows you to pause and to see that that's not really helpful and it's not even accurate. Something led to this and I just haven't figured it out yet, but I'm going to. Okay, so you've shifted from a place of shame to a place of clarity, and you've pointed your doer in the right direction to take a step of change. Essential skill set number 2 is seeing clearly. Now, what does this mean? Now that your thinking has softened and cleared up, you can see what's actually happening in your current situation and in your life in general. Sometimes we're just in that moment where we may be frustrated with ourselves or having all these feelings, and we're not seeing what's actually happening, understanding the situation. So seeing clearly means you understand the situation, what's real, what's not real, and what's actually going on inside and around you. Let's look at some example tools and skills of skill set number 2, seeing clearly. Okay, a behavior recognizer. Instead of maybe getting frustrated or acting unintentionally or just reacting to a situation, you recognize the behavior that you show in a certain situation. Like, this is what I do at night, or this is what I do in the mornings when I don't want to get out of bed. This is what I do at a girls' night when there are all the snacks and all the drinks. Or this is what I do when I'm feeling particularly insecure or bad about myself or a decision I made. A behavior recognizer can really help you separate things you do, things that you have maybe developed a habit of, from who you believe you are. Behavior does not equal you. Remember that. Connecting the dots is another tool in this seeing clearly skill set. If we can connect the dots from one behavior to another, we can start to see patterns and see where we can upset them and disrupt them and start to change them. So like if you skip a meal and then later you're starving and you don't have a food plan, you're not in a good position to make good choices. If you can connect those dots, you can step in and make changes. And that's an example of where you can make changes that aren't so uncomfortable. So recognizing the behavior, recognizing the patterns can help you adjust and feel that change roll out naturally from within you. We've talked about that. A hunger scale is another tool that we'll use to help us see clearly. We'll talk all about a really good one. And then this last tool of seeing clearly is called intention awareness. And this is so good. It's when you can catch yourself before you're about to do something and ask yourself, what am I about to do and why? If you can determine the why behind a certain behavior, you're in a position to help adjust appropriately so that the change of the behavior doesn't feel so hard. When you're seeing more clearly, you are identifying the real situation, what's really going on. You're separating your facts from your feelings, from your identity, and you're finding clarity in the moment. And remember, when you're clear, when you're thinking clearly, when you're seeing clearly, when you connect, that's when you can put your doer in the right direction. A quick note, you may have noticed that we're beginning to touch on body awareness, like hunger and physical cues. So we're going to go much deeper into that in layer 4, which is body connection, where you'll learn to fully trust and understand your body. And if you were surprised that I just shared the next layer with you, that's because I changed my mind. I realized it was better to share all of it from the beginning. So you can go back and re-listen to episode 3, The Foundation Beneath Your Weight Loss, because it's different now. Or you can listen to the bonus episode where I say I changed my mind. Here are your 5 layers of your foundation. Okay, so layer number 4 is body connection, and we'll get there and we're going to dive deep into that. Okay, tools of essential number 3, which is responding intentionally. What does that mean to respond intentionally? It means that you choose what works instead of reacting automatically in a situation. You take control and you respond with intention. And it feels really good because you can feel that you're being your own advocate. You've got your own back. You're going to take care of yourself. So now that you can think and see clearly, you're ready to choose and plan to move. Let's talk about some example tools of responding intentionally. Here, we are going to pinpoint the actual problem. What do I really need right now? We've talked about that. We're going to pinpoint that actual problem and find the right solution. Okay, we're going to match the solution to the problem, and that means fast, effective, efficient work. We are going to learn an awesome tool called finding the value. When you can do this, you can leave past gripping experiences behind and take the value with you. It is awesome. You're going to ask yourself, what actually matters here? What is valuable? And if it's not, you let it go. A similar tool that's just kind of a different angle is what is relevant, the relevance thought filter. Is this thought even useful right now? Is it even taking me close to where I want to go? If not, who cares about it? It's not relevant. Your doer doesn't care about it. She wants to move forward. So you don't need to care about it anymore. And the last tool I will touch on today to help us respond intentionally is the tool of indifference. I mentioned that last week also. Being indifferent to something takes all the pressure and all the hard out of it. Like I mentioned with discomfort. If you can be indifferent to discomfort, you hold all the power. You can let urges, noise, comments, experiences, anything exist without reacting to them. What are you indifferent to now? Cigarettes? Tomatoes? A sci-fi movie with Klingons and like weird battleships and noises and little fuzzy animals? Let's learn to apply that indifference to the things in our lives that don't hold value or relevance to us. So that looks like walking by a Costco sheet cake that's been sitting on your counter and wanting to grab a fork and take a big bite of it. That's not intentional, that's not valuable, that's not relevant to your weight loss. So let's develop some indifference to it. That way, we can make intentional decisions and follow through. We'll reduce impulsive behavior that keeps us stuck and prevents us from making progress. And we can create plans that our doer can follow. Essential skill set of weight loss number 4 is moving forward. This means that you take action and you keep going, even if it's not perfect. This is where those little internal shifts of change happen. This is where we build consistency over time and we start to see real results. Okay, some example tools of moving forward. Building habits that work and resonate with you. This will build that consistency over time. Habit stacking, attaching new actions to existing ones that you already do. It doesn't have to be so hard. Now, what does moving forward specifically look like on a given day? One thought that I'm sure we have all had is, I will do better tomorrow. I'll start over tomorrow. What moving forward looks like is you take one step forward right now. You don't give up on yourself. You show yourself some compassion and trust, and you take a small step forward. Just like Bria did when she closed the pantry, brushed her teeth, and got in bed, and told herself that she could still have chocolate if she needed it. She didn't give up and say, I'll start tomorrow. She did it right in the moment. And that doesn't have to be a huge action. It just has to be a small step forward with a doable, appealing plan. And when she moves forward, she builds that consistency and momentum, and she also builds trust in herself to the point where she will just expect this behavior from herself. That's where you notice it's changed. You don't have to trust yourself, you just expect it. When you walk over to the fridge and open it, do you trust that there is food in there? No, you just expect it. We can get to a point when we are out to dinner or at a party or home alone where we don't just trust ourselves to make good choices. We just expect it because that's what we've learned to do. Do you trust that the sun is going to come up in the morning? No, you expect it. I hope you get to a point where you don't just trust that a new episode of this podcast comes out on Tuesday. You expect it, and you expect it to help you. So you will get to a place where you don't just trust yourself to become the lighted, lifted version of you who has lost the weight and is living a happier life. You just expect yourself to continue to live that way because that is who you are. Now let's bring it all together and review for a moment, and then we're going to go back to Bria and watch her use the Connect, Check, and Go framework to practice the 4 essential skill sets of weight loss. Let's review. To become a new, lifted, lighter version of yourself for life, you need a way to move through a moment and take steps of change. Okay, your foolproof plan and the 4 essentials are how you're going to do it. Moment after moment, day after day, until you make the change and develop your weight loss doer into a developed doer who feels natural in your life. All right, in any moment, you're going to connect. You're going to come above the fog and see and think clearly. Then you're going to check that you are responding intentionally with a plan that works. Then you are going to go. You're going to empower your doer and let her move forward, taking a step of change. Now let's go back to our friend Bria. Okay, it's 9:15 at night. Again, let's say it's the next night after she closed the pantry door and went and laid in bed. We don't know if she ate chocolate that night because remember, it doesn't matter. Her doer took a step forward. Tonight, the house is quiet and she and her husband are going to watch an episode or 2 of their favorite show before going to bed. But right now, Bria is standing at the pantry again. This used to be an automatic thing. She'd open the door, scan the shelves, grab something. And before she even realizes what's going on, she is back in that same cycle. But tonight feels different because of the choice she made the night before. She remembers the other night when her doer moved her in the right direction and it felt good. It felt good in the morning. It felt good in the moment. And it feels good right now, even though she can feel that pulling urge inside her again. But Bria pauses and she connects so that she can think and see clearly. She doesn't grab anything from the pantry yet. She remembers, I am above this situation that always feels so hard in my life, but I can do it. She softens her shoulders, takes a breath, and asks, what do I really need right now? So she's thinking clearly. She wants to think clearly. A thought comes in, you've had a long day, you deserve this. But she catches it and she says, well, that's a familiar script, I say to myself. That's a bug detector. Another thought comes, I'll just have a little and I'll do better tomorrow. She pauses again. That's my lower brain rationalizing to get me to quiet the urge with food. But it doesn't help me, I know this. It keeps me stuck. She uses a thought filter and a cognitive error detector. She's catching and managing her thoughts instead of impulsively reacting to a familiar situation. So she's getting some clarity. Now she wants to see clearly. She wants to see her situation clearly for what it is. This isn't just a circumstance that happens to her every night. She looks at her actual situation and uses the tool of recognizing her behavior. This is my usual nighttime pattern. It's not me. I don't have to do it. I can do something different. She's seeing the fog lift a little, and she sits with the urge while it does. Bria checks in again. What would actually work for me right now? She's going to respond with some intention and pinpoint something she really needs. I need something calming and supportive right now, not just mindless snacks that aren't going to make me feel good. She considers her options. No, not cookies. If I eat those, I'll keep going, and I don't want to feel that way. She recognizes the lack of value in eating those cookies. The urge is still there inside her, but it's quieting some, and she lets it be. I do not have to answer that urge. It doesn't have to mean anything to me. She employs a little bit of indifference. Then she creates a plan. I'm going to make a warm drink, sit on the couch, and be done with snacking for the night. I can do that. Is it appealing? Yes, it sounds calm and comforting. Is it possible? Yes, because I know the mindless snacks aren't what I really need or want right now. Does it move me forward? 100%. This will be the second night in a row where I haven't just grabbed something off the pantry shelf and eaten it. Now comes the moment that has been so hard in the past. Bria closes the pantry door, but it doesn't seem quite as hard tonight. She did it last night. She can already feel the momentum from her consistent choice. She's made a decision and she knows she can do it. She thinks to herself, I'm not coming back here tonight. How has Bria moved forward? She dismisses any drama. She just moves. She makes her drink. She sits down. She has followed through. She has gotten out of her doer's way and she has let her doer move her closer to who she wants to be. As she sits on the couch, she feels the urge flicker again. She notices it and she says to herself, there it is. I know that feeling and I know it doesn't mean anything. So she lets it pass. That is developing a skill. It's developing who she is. So what all did Bria do? She thought clearly. She caught the bugs in her brain. She saw clearly. She understood her situation and she responded intentionally by making a plan that would work for her. She moved forward by doing all of that and following through. She moved forward tonight using Connect, Check, and Go and her essential weight loss skills. And this is how Bria's pantry brain and her pantry drama every night begins to fade into something she used to do, but is starting to care less about. And over time, this moment becomes easier. It becomes more natural until one day she does not stand at that pantry every night. Time for some final thoughts. Darling, of course we are all Bria. And her pantry brain, her pantry drama, it's all of our lives. Whether it's the drive-thru, the movie theater, your bedroom, your online grocery cart, your Thanksgiving plate, whatever that looks like to you, whatever your challenges are. Connect, check, and go. Using those 4 essentials of weight loss will help you change. This is how we are going to clear the mental bugs. We're going to rebuild your weight identity so that you feel no resistance whatsoever to being a person who lives at your healthy weight for the rest of your life. Remember, I told you we're going to quiet those damaging thoughts. We're going to release the grip of past experiences that have held you tight and have held you stuck and have made it feel so hard to lose weight. I hope by now you've seen the beginnings of building a belief system that works for you and not against you. That's what Bria was working on. She made little changes and she can see that she can do things differently. Bria is starting to change her relationship with food, and we are going to do that with you. In just 2 nights, she's seen some consistency and momentum build, and you're going to see that also. Bria is starting to become someone who knows she will get there. Darling, you are someone who can know you will get there. I want you to feel that for yourself. Over time, all of these tools that we're going to learn and practice are going to become skills. Those skills will become habits. Those habits will become you. And that's how everything changes. Next week, we are going to start to take specific tools and specific skills and applying them to very common situations in weight loss. We're going to take the 4 essentials and we are going to apply them to your life. And just know that as I start to share experiences from when I was younger that crippled my sense of a healthy weight identity, crippled my ability to see my beautiful body for what it was, and that embedded those thick, dark weeds into my soul and clouded up my vision. I'm doing it in hopes that you can use the tools and skills that I have been blessed to finally find to help yourself get out of any of that dark mess that you might have in your life. I'm doing it because I love you. I love to share the light. I love to share the good. I love to find the value and the hope and the peace. Sometimes sharing the dark is what's necessary for that moment. I know you can grow from it. I sure have. I just wish it hadn't taken me so many years. As I share it with you, please let it pierce whatever fog is surrounding you. Let it bring you some light. Let it give you some clarity and love. And I will share whatever tools of practical wisdom I feel will help. We're going to get rid of all of the yucky. Then we're going to scoop the value up from all around us and start taking steps forward on our beautiful concrete path. We'll scatter the value all around us and ahead of us so that we can use it to be the person who wants to shine our essence out into the world, who isn't held back by whatever heaviness being overweight causes us. We're going to get specific next week, my darling, and we're going to use these tools to move through the yucky and keep moving forward. I love you. Get ready to start building your collection of tools and skills to help you be your best self. Bye-bye.